Hi, I'm Joey Only for Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, and we're talking about this mid-latitude cyclone system that's been coming at us from the Pacific Ocean. Right now you can see this is that big storm, the one that made all the news this weekend, that had the central low pressure of 921 millibars. That's lower than all but one Atlantic hurricane this year. Now, an Atlantic hurricane is a very different thing than a mid-latitude cyclone, and we'll talk about that a little later on. But I was saying in my post this afternoon on Weather Watchers how in the eye of the storm, it's all but calm as the cold air is descending into it. And you can see right here, maybe if you're in there, maybe you'll see some stars at this hour. Here's BC right now, a little bit coming into the evening, hovering around 0 or below for most places. What I want to tell you is about the morning commute. In the morning commute, you can expect now this mid-latitude cyclone spinning, and this large comma, this hook of him is coming off, and now it's 1 a.m. in the map, now it's 6 a.m. and here we are at 8 a.m. We get nice brush of snow all across BC, right in time for your work week to start, first work week of the year, and then we can see that some holes begin to fill in. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about the forecast in a minute, but I want to talk about mid-latitude cyclones. And first thing we need to know is that how does low pressure work? Now, above the equator where we live, low pressure tends to swirl counterclockwise. And you can see this is a small effect, but this is a wall cloud I took a picture of in Alberta some time ago. And you can see here's the cold air descending down, and here's warm air rising up, and it's got this twisting shape, but it's counterclockwise spinning. There's a better picture of it here. You can see again it's reaching down. Here's the warm air filling in, and here's the cold, cool air, so it's spinning counterclockwise. It was quite a storm. It was lovely. In the back of this, when it wrapped around on us, we got hit by hail and lightning and all kinds of things. Here's another tornado trying to form in Alberta, near Nanton, Alberta. I took a picture of, and you can see again the same sort of motion. It's swirling, and it's swirling in that counterclockwise motion. That's the important part. Now, what's different between a hurricane and a mid-latitude cyclone? You can see the hurricane here is just its own independent system. It's fully wrapped in itself. It's feeding off the ocean. It's an independent body. Here you have the eye again, that cold air that's descending down. All the warm air is rising up, and you have bands of thunderstorms around it spinning around. And you have this central eye. Now imagine which way does your toilet flow? It spins to the low pressure. It's counterclockwise down. So if you're at the bottom of this, where it's 4 knots right now at the mid-latitude cyclone, you might be able to look up because that cold air is descending on you. We know that cold air doesn't carry moisture, so there's no cloud in there. It's going to be very clear sky in the middle of that, and that's the same for hurricanes and the case for this cyclone we have going on right now. But as you can see, the hurricane's an independent image again. Hurricane Michael, Category 5 storm, and you can see how it's feeding into this side and the cold air is coming around, and here we have the eye once again where more cold air is descending down. Now the difference between a mid-latitude cyclone and that, and you can see when we look at, I love this, earth.nullschool.net, we can see that hurricanes form along the equator where this band of weather almost always is westerlies. And that's just the way it is on the equator. It's always that way. So that's where your hurricanes are going to form. Whereas up above, in the 60 degree and north, we have systems that are largely fueled by cold air and warm air convergence. So we have here the cold air feeding in from Asia right now, and we have warm air feeding up, and we have this new cyclone that's starting to form. And here's the one that we have right now. It's still managing to draw enough warm air to keep itself pretty strong. We'll come back to this map in a second in our talk about today's weather. But you can see here's that same effect. The cold air is slotting in, the warm air is pushing up. So now here's this big comma arm that's going to slap into BC overnight tonight as this low spins and give us this nice band of moisture that's going to unfurl at us, and that's why it's doing it that way. Some interesting notes. Here's our jet stream right now. It's very, very strong across the Pacific, so that's really helping to aid these storms' growth, but also where they're going to move to. And what's happening, because these storms are so strong, is they're going to push against this Arctic air mass. So what's always happening is the Arctic air mass is always on this side of the jet stream. The jet stream, it's sort of like the image I had the other day of the guy getting hit in the gut with the cannonball, and I said his body is his insides are the polar air mass, but his skin is the jet stream in the image, right? So here's the jet stream, and it's bending just the way that cannonball would have hit that guy. And you look at the polar air mass right now, what I find really shocking is it's just not there. I mean, here's the North Pole proper, straight dead on. We have this crazy warm influx of air up to the North Pole. It's as warm in the North Pole as it is in northern BC, southern Yukon. Here's some of the cold air in Asia. Asia's just freezing. Russia, it's able to feed these storms that are growing right now. Over the next 10 days, that's going to result in a lot of precipitation in BC, and you can see by the color where that's going to be. So you have people who live in the central interior, you're not going to see very much of this weather, and maybe you'll be happy for that. I think that's all I have for this. And just talking about that Arctic air mass, the last thing I want to say about it, as this series of storms should definitely, this low in the Gulf of Alaska should definitely keep pushing against this polar air mass. It'll keep it away from us for some time to come. But even then, you look at the colors, and there's not a lot of deep cold in the Arctic. And even more concerning, as I was saying, is here's the North Pole, and we have very warm air flooding up to the North Pole. I mean, this is fucked. I don't know how else to explain it. And if you're going to try to look me seriously in the face and say that this isn't evidence of climate change, you're not going to be taken very credibly by me. So here's our weather for the next few days. I hope you enjoy the real mix it's going to be. Certainly we're going to have a couple different patterns move through on Sunday or on Monday and Tuesday, and then as we come to Friday too, we're going to have another one of these bands of moisture come slapping up against the coast. So that's about how your work week's going to look. A little bit of everything: rain, wind, snow. Check your local forecasts. Join our YouTube page. Join Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers if you haven't on Facebook, and give us your money if you can, because we need to make better videos. And see you next time.